you bet. He has drove a faultless race, a class race from Bottas, who has been magnificent this afternoon. And he's about to best his teammates, and he's about to come through, and he is about to win the Chinese Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas wins, Max Verstappen is second, and Lewis Hamilton takes third place. Albon is fourth, Gonzalez takes fifth, and Carlos Sainz in the McLaren is sixth. Well, the champagne will flow. The champagne will flow here, and it's fully deserved for Bottas, who has produced another fabulous performance. Brilliant stuff. Valtteri Bottas is the winner again, and could he be a challenger this season?
The race pace was honestly really good today, and as I saw in practice, so for once, things actually did go my way, and I had some luck as well. And then in the free air, actually my pace was really strong, so I didn't think it was over yet after turn one, but at least I tried in turn one.
Okay, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I thought we left the rain back in China. Across half the world, and it still followed us here.
Radar is suggesting that it'll clear up about halfway through the race, boss.
Well, that's going to make the race a little bit more interesting, isn't it?
Well, 35 years ago, Niki Lauda beat Alain Prost in the McLaren 1-2 by a car length to claim the last victory at the Dutch Grand Prix here at Zandvoort. And we're back again. This time it's the 2020 season, and it is all to play for. The fourth round of the World Championship, and it's been an absolutely cracking season thus far. A brand new circuit added to us, the Dutch Grand Prix, 14 turns, 2.6 miles, so expect some quick hot laps, a huge long start-finish straight, great DRS zone, could prove to do some fantastic overtaking, and we hope there is lots of it today and lots of good hard racing. And with the championship set up as it is, the early leader after 3 rounds, Valtteri Bottas, has a 7-point lead over Lewis Hamilton, sitting in 44 points, and Carlos Sainz, after his brilliant win in round 2, is in third position. So how fitting it is that McLaren are back in a competitive race car in the circuit in which they last claimed a win. A man hoping to get back to form is Lewis Hamilton, yet to win this season, but he is in pole position, and he will be the man everyone will look to catch thus far. So let's break down the grid and let's have a look at the qualifiers for the Dutch Grand Prix. And Lewis Hamilton beat Charles Leclerc by 1/1000th of a second to take it. And Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen, who will have all the home supporters on the second row. Vettel's beaten Albon in there, and Daniel Ricciardo has beaten Perez, and Hector Gonzalez in the Ravenwest comes in at 9th. The McLarens are 11th and 12th from respectively, and Daniel Kvyat is out-qualified Pierre Gasly. Mick Schumacher is 15th in the other Ravenwest, and the Alfa Romeos of Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi are 17th and 18th. Grosjean and Magnussen are in the Haas again, and in 19th and 20th, and Latifi and Russell. And we'll be right back after this. So we're all ready for the Dutch Grand Prix of 2020. And it's begun again. 35 years in the making. We're back in the Netherlands. It's a fantastic start by Lewis Hamilton that's got into these straightaway. Leclerc is being challenged by Max Verstappen. And Gonzalez in the Ravenwest is going well. It's three best in for second place as they fly through up to turn 3. And this is fantastic at the moment. This long sweeping back left-hander. And Gonzalez has done fantastically well to get himself into a fantastic second position. A really, really, really great performance by the Ravenwest team. And they're flying away. And there is a move being made, I believe, by Max Verstappen, who's all around the back of that Ravenwest. Those Honda engines going tooth and nail, and Verstappen has all the support of the home crowd. But look at the gap already that Lewis Hamilton has put out. The weather may be not the best for racing. But Gonzalez has shown there's got a real talent behind this 31-year-old Spaniard, and what a fantastic performance he's got. But he's starting to slow up the rest of the pack, and I think Max Verstappen must be thinking if he can pass him, then he could be in a position to challenge for more of this race. Another lovely banked corner that they fly around, a lovely feature, and through to the start finish straight where these cars will be hitting, well, when in dry conditions, more or less their top speed. Won't be today. Heavy braking required into turn 1. Tarzan, as it is known as, because you really do end up screaming like Jane as you fly around it, especially in conditions as this. So the Ravenwest is in the lead. Behind them is Max Verstappen in 3rd place, and how he will want to impress. Some has even touted he could be the eventual replacement for Lewis Hamilton's crown. I would dearly love to see him and Charles Leclerc and going at it in the future. Well, this is the start, and this is speeding on that. It's a fantastic start to get past the Renault. He's passed 3, 4, 5 cars heading into the first corner. That is absolutely majestic, and he has the stones to go around the outside, and there's contact between him and Verstappen. I don't think it's heavy contact. It's heavy braking again. Little nudge just to remind me to say, I'm here. And that's brave driving by Gonzalez, who's had to be very brave indeed. But look at the trainer cars that are following him. And it's playing into the hands of Lewis Hamilton. It allows him to move into a position where he can take control of the race. He can look to take advantage. And one wonders if that can stay. They all head him through down into turn 12. They will fly up then on the power heavily into turn 11. It's a huge banked corner, which is a real feature of this circuit. And start finish straight arrives again, and we're already on lap 2. Oh, that goes away quickly, doesn't it? Especially when the racing is this hot. So here is the top 10 on lap 2 of 18, and Hamilton leads Gonzalez from Verstappen. Leclerc is in 4th, Bottas is 5th. Alex Albon is 6th, Vettel in the Ferrari is 7th, and Ricciardo in the Renault is 8th. Perez and Stroll, the Racing Points, are 9th and 10th. Right, so it'll be short, sharp, fast racing. Perhaps one of the greatest Grand Prix finishes ever took place here in 1985. It was a lovely day that was, and it showed us the genius of Niki Lauda. It was his final win actually in Grand Prix motor racing, beating Alain Prost. Would challenge, but Prost would go on to become world champion for the very first time that year, and we are now watching a man looking to become a world champion for a record equaling 7th time. Still looking for his first wins, but the Mercedes it is. Can he go ahead and equal Michael Schumacher's record of 91 wins? Can he even go ahead and beat that? Such a wonderful ambassador to sport Lewis Hamilton is, and a great champion, and it looks to me, just from that Gonzalez is just starting to catch the Mercedes. So it's either Lewis Hamilton has decided to back off to manage his tyres, because with the rain it's highly unlikely they're going to be pitting. So it's Lewis Hamilton, or is that just brilliant driving from Gonzalez? I have to think it was perhaps a bit of both, and definitely there. Gonzalez is gaming on Hamilton. Verstappen and Leclerc are still 3rd and 4th. This is us on board now. We're Hector Gonzalez, and you can see him there moving that steering wheel, just fighting it left and right, and trying to find all the grip possible, and he is finding grip right behind Lewis Hamilton's car, and it really is going for it. The real feature of this Grand Prix is its peaks and troughs. You'll go downhill, and it's so difficult to keep the car in a straight line in this particular. It just naturally wants to drift wide. Brake early, clip of the apex power, just feed it through, full throttle, have to brake, pop down 2 gears, round into the corner. Then you'll have another braking zone to appear from here. It's just such a speedy, fast and wonderful track, and you can see there, Gonzalez in this, I have to say, pretty awful weather, really has done fantastically well to make up the gap on Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton now, as they come round, to complete turn 12, there'll be turn 13, which is the long banking right-hander that becomes turn 14, and then it'll be the start-finish straight as they exit the arena complex. Great seats, it has to be said, to have here today. And now Gonzalez. Now there'll be no DRS, so this is going to have to be old-fashioned mechanical drag, old-fashioned mechanical power. Some of you said give these guys an old-fashioned mechanical clutch. But we'll wait and see as it happens at the moment. Hamilton still has a lead and Gonzalez is chasing it, and this is where all the eyes are. The home crowd, I'm sure you, is looking at 3rd place with Max Verstappen, and I'm looking at the Delta times, and Max Verstappen, whilst not falling behind, isn't gaining, but he's just about doing enough to hold off Charles Leclerc. We'll wait and see if conditions change, and if conditions change, will that weigh in? Will tyres become a factor in this Grand Prix? And it's Lewis Hamilton leading, who's yet to win this season. But he's found himself in 2nd place. He's got a 7-point deficit to make up to Valtteri Bottas, who has won twice and spun off in the 2nd race, which is a real shocker, actually. Really did change the way that people are seeing this Grand Prix unfold at the moment. But we're still waiting to see if there will be more action in this one. Bahrain itself was a great Grand Prix. That was an opportunity. Now, what's happening with Gonzalez? Is he able to match what he did in Bahrain? Or at the moment he is, because 2nd place was how he finished. 5th in China. Another start-finish straight. And my heavens, doesn't this circuit fly through? Just trying to dip out of the dirty air, trying to get some clean air behind Lewis Hamilton, which will always be the challenge you'll have on this circuit. Ravenwest, very much sporting a livery that was the sort of Renault testing livery potentially. No changes in the top 10 as things stand. Bottas is still in 5th. And this will be good for Hamilton if things stay as. It may allow him to take a lead in the championship, but at the moment in the race in which Gonzalez is driving, he's going to have to struggle to take the lead in this race, because Gonzalez is absolutely flying. He's gone purple in Sector 1, so he's absolutely giving it everything he has. That Ravenwest, while it may not have the straight line speed in the wet, my heavens, behind the driver that is, it really is a match for a lot of other people. It reminds me slightly of watching Ayrton Senna in the old Lotus, the John Player Special, which was the last car Senna raced in at this circuit in 1985. Did briefly lead the race after Nelson Piquet retired, but the Lotus was never hugely competitive, but it was a fantastic driver behind it that kept it going. This is Lewis Hamilton's exhaust, and you can see who's starting the brief all around the back of it. As a long sweeping right-hander finishes through the start-finish straight. Nice to see everybody in full capacity today. No mention of COVID in sight. Now, Gonzalez is continuing this pace, and Verstappen, Leclerc and Bottas are staying in the top 5. Albon's fallen back slightly. That's nothing. And now Gonzalez trying to go round the outside. That's a very, very brave move. And now we get him with the undercut. Lewis Hamilton's going to have to defend the next one. It's going to sleep left. It's absolutely going to slew Gonzalez, and Lewis Hamilton jinks left and right. And they're going into it next corner. Lewis Hamilton trying to outbrake him. How brave. It's inside versus outside line, and they're so close and just wide, and Lewis Hamilton has to yield the position. That was outstanding driving by Hector Gonzalez in the Ravenwest, but he's got an angry Mercedes sitting right behind him now. Will he be able to pull away? And will Lewis Hamilton be able to gain back the position? Look at Lewis Hamilton again, using all of the circuits. What a brave bit of driving that was between both drivers, particularly under the fact that grip isn't there, so they're going wide, they're using the curbs. too much power on that, and it's like an ice rink. You'll spin the car in seconds. Where Gonzalez is finding this grip for is just quite remarkable. It really, really is. You know, a colleague of mine would even say he's a driver of pure genius in wet conditions. And we're seeing that to effect right now. There he goes wide again, just trying to cool those wet tyres down that long straight. And we are nearly at the halfway distance of this race. Yes, halfway. It's a shot by this Grand Prix. Been fabulous to watch. Gonzalez leads Hamilton, Verstappen and Leclerc. No change in the top 10. Number 14 of Gonzalez. And he has Hamilton now. The question is here is what will happen to the rest of the field. Can Verstappen potentially catch Lewis Hamilton, or does Lewis Hamilton have it in him to catch Gonzalez? If that is the case, then that would be great for Hamilton's World Championship. For Gonzalez, though, the Ravenwest side, their 4th Grand Prix, they've been on the podium. They had that in Bahrain. Denied cruelly in the first race in Australia, Gonzalez, but Mick Schumacher coming home to claim the final point in that race. And watching Lewis Hamilton's just really had a flyer in that last sector, gone purple, and Delta Timing says he really is picking up. So this will be a real test of Gonzalez's skill. And do you know what? So is Max Verstappen. He is flying at the moment. And that Red Bull seems to be suited into this weather. And they come through to the start-finish straight again. And Gonzalez again, a wider line that he takes down the middle. Trying to keep the tyres cool. He's able to come in and brake and find that track. And the car isn't wheel spinning at these speeds. It's got the potential to. And Gonzalez again, slightly unorthodox in the way in which he does look to sort of drift in. But he's avoiding the curbs on this car at all costs. But he's got Mercedes and a Red Bull and the Ferrari behind him. So Ravenwest sitting 5th in the World Championship for constructors at the moment. They're ahead of Alfa. They're really, some shout to them to be the in there with the mid-table battle. However, McLaren have entered the main stages, and with McLaren entering the main stages, Ferrari have been sent back, but at the moment McLaren aren't as competitive as they perhaps like in previous races. Wonderful angle from our helicopter pilot today. Well-known Dutchman, you might remember him. It's Dutchy McDutchface, who's our helicopter pilot. Now, can you see on the track, you will start to see a slightly lighter shade of grey going around that last corner. That was turn 12. You might see it here through turn 13. As these cars start to go around this track, they start to wash the water away. They wash it away and they create a dry line. And where they create a dry line, they create more grip. And that's where the wet tyres themselves are very good. The guys today running on intermediate tyres, but as it runs on them, the car itself is able to find more grip as the water is washed away. And as you've got 22 cars flying through in a single line, and you can see on that previous angle a bit of damage there to Gonzalez's car. Yeah, we can see it there on the left. So that's sort of a side pod of his. There is some markings, is some damage. So there is a worry here, though. Is anything damaged? Famously, there was always the race in the 1997 season, the conclusion of that, at Jerez, where Michael Schumacher drove into Jacques Villeneuve. Whilst he didn't take Villeneuve out of the race, the battery was dislodged and was hanging by the electrical threads it was connected to. So Villeneuve on that day slowed down, stayed off the curbs, got through, got the 3rd place he needed to win the championship. Apparently he only needed 5th on that day, because 5th would have given you 2 points, and that was enough to him to become world champion. And that was a smart driving by he on that day. And it was a car itself that was actually designed by the current Red Bull technician Adrian Newey. Adrian Newey, huge success with Williams in the 90s and McLaren in the late 90s and early 2000s, and then he moved over to Red Bull and hugely successful run with them. But since the overall changes, Red Bull haven't quite had the power to match Mercedes, and nobody has had the power to match the Ravenwest Honda. I'm sure Nathan McCain and Rick Scott will be absolutely delighted with this. Over halfway distance, there's still a long way to go in this Grand Prix. And And if you were the team principal of Ravenwest, Chris Whiteman, right now, what are you thinking? Well, what you are doing is probably cusping both hands together in front of you and praying for the heavens. Please, car, hold together. There is some damage, so there is some danger for that. One hopes that Gonzalez can continue to maintain the right lines, keep the car straight, not do anything rash. He's under pressure. He's coping very well with the pressure, and that's a real kudos to the driver. He knows he's got, one of, if not the greatest, right behind him, but he's maintaining that distance. And Max Verstappen has been drawn into the battle, and now Max Verstappen could potentially be in a position to maybe even challenge Lewis Hamilton. Let's listen to the Ravenwest radio.
Okay, box.
Well, the call has been made, and a pit stop. We weren't expecting too many, but here we go. Will this have to be for damage to the Ravenwest, or will it be to change tyres? So they're into absolutely shot to pieces. Wait and see what happens into the change. He's changing tyre compound, so that's over into the medium compound. That's a brave move. If this does come to fruition, wowee, is this going to be fantastic for the Ravenwest side? But Hamilton leaps into pole position, Verstappen goes second, and Charles Leclerc goes third as a result of this. So Gonzalez, was that the right decision? Was the track drying enough to warrant a change of compound? Where enters, we'll know. We'll have to look at the lap times to see if it was the case. If it wasn't, then my heavens. But the rain has stopped. The track is damp, but this is just one of those brave moves that's going to come through. This is what I remember Jenson Button did in Canada in 2011. Didn't have as good a start as Gonzalez has, but just went for tyres at the right time, and as a result worked his way through the field. Has Gonzalez gone a lap early to get himself a quicker bit of pace? If he's got a bit more pace, but when everyone else flies in for tyres, he will be absolutely flying. Shouldn't need to change again for the rest of the race. It should be set up for him really nicely, and I can't see that car twitching about or misbehaving too heavily. He does though have the Renault of Daniel Ricciardo sitting behind him, and he's got both racing points of Perez and Stroll. So we'll come through again, both McLarens, both at the Red Bull. I don't think it's the right move, because as a result, that's a really deep turn by Ricciardo, and Gonzalez has held on to 7th position. So that was very brave. He was definitely short on the power, but the track is drying out. So as this track dries out, Gonzalez going to be able to pick up more speed. And through the pit stops, if the other drivers do decide that in order to remain competitive they do need to pit, will that be a brave move for the Ravenwest? It's absolutely fascinating at the moment what is going to happen in this Grand Prix. Will this be a brilliant bit of tactical work by the Ravenwest sides? Well, here is a man that everybody here in Zandvoort has come to see. It's Max Verstappen, a Dutch driver carrying the hopes of the nation on this Grand Prix, and he'll definitely be looking to try and influence the race. They're still staying out. Can't see any cars in line to pit at the moment. So Hamilton leads by Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Oh, and Verstappen has gone through! Hamilton might have a problem! Hamilton might have a problem, a mechanical failure! Oh, what rotten luck for Lewis Hamilton! He smashes through the side, and that's it! Hamilton's out of the Grand Prix! The safety car is deployed, and goodness me, look what that does for this race! It brings Max Verstappen into the lead! There is the safety car! And he's got to be let through. He's got to be let through, Daniel Ricciardo. Now the safety car is through. He's got both racing points, and McLaren's sitting right behind him. But what a brilliant moment. That is for Verstappen. Poor luck on Hamilton. 4th race in a row. He just cannot find a break at the moment. Mechanical failure to a Mercedes. You scarce believe it. It has happened at Zandvoort. That's going to be wonders for Bottas' World Championship lead. Valtteri Bottas in 4th place. Well, in third place now. It's absolutely going to suit him wonderfully well. And, that will allow him to extend it. But this is the man everybody came to see, Max Verstappen. And now they're all flying into the pits. So they have seen the changing conditions. So, has this worked out for the Ravenwest side? Hard tyres going on. Verstappen's Red Bull. And now we wait and see what happens with Sebastian Vettel. Pit stop for him. What compound does he fly out on? He goes out on hard tyres also. So with the safety car set, every car has to go in. Apart from, well, if you're lead driver, you'll go in first. If you're a teammate, you may have to stick around. But safety car is the perfect time to pit. This is how to do it. This is going to work out for the Ravenwest side. Is it going to work out for them, or are they somehow going to be able to last? Lap 14 of 18, and Albon leads Max Verstappen from Charles Leclerc from Bottas. Gonzalez is down to 5th as they all look to bunch up right behind the safety car. And, this has worked out nicely. I do feel for Lewis Hamilton. We wonder if we will get a chance to speak to the Englishman after that retirement. Surely something that he'll be deeply frustrated with. So Albon, who has not come in and is still at the moment running on the intermediate tyres, he leads the Grand Prix. He's got Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas sitting behind him. As the rest look to build up, we shall wait for them to remove Lewis Hamilton's car from the track, as is the requirements these days. That has to be moved under safety car. Remember the horrible moment where Jules Bianchi sadly lost his life after flying through. So now this is a permanent feature, and that's the feature of F1, getting it to become safer and safer year after year. Well, we shall have to look to see if this is a moment in which Albon comes into pits, and he does. He's followed by Racing Point and McLaren that have not pitted thus far. Now let's watch Albon stop. Very good stop. Only team to do a sub 2 second stop this season is the Red Bulls. AlphaTauri is in, intermediates is off. On again. It's just so well drilled that these drivers are, the way in which they do pit. Giovinazzi. And away he goes for the Alfa Romeo. So Verstappen leads from Leclerc from Bottas. Gonzalez, that was leading, has put in. It hasn't quite worked out for him, this safety car. He's coming in 4th. So after a brilliant drive by him, can he find that sort of form again in dry conditions? In the wet, no doubt about it, Gonzalez was flying. But the main thing, and I'm sure what everybody here that is in the Netherlands, in Zandvoort, they will be hoping that the current leader of the Grand Prix, Max Verstappen, come home to win his home Grand Prix. Last winner of this was always the late great Niki Lauda, and it was a close finish that day. It was a car length from Alain Prost. It was Niki Lauda's final win in Formula 1 Grand Prix motor racing, and we're going to find out if Verstappen can, because the lights are off, and effectively now Max Verstappen, he is the safety car, and it's not until he decides to go that we will be back up and racing, and we have to cross that final line. So he will keep them all bunched up, and Gonzalez is just having a sniff of Bottas. When he does decide to go, we will be back under and racing again. And we got the hammer down. Yes, Verstappen has the hammer down. The car comes in. The safety car comes in. We have laps 16, 17 and 18 to go of the Dutch Grand Prix. And Bottas is trying to defend from Gonzalez. And Gonzalez here looks to send one down the inside and takes the position and comes through into 3rd place. And Sebastian Vettel comes in again. Oh, and car number 77 has a that's Bottas has a stop-go penalty for dangerous braking. Gonzalez. Bottas has got to reserve a stop-go penalty. It has been a disastrous race here for the Mercedes at the moment. And now the Mercedes of Bottas and the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel go side by side on a Grand Prix which we've waited to go going. My heavens, has it kicked off in great pace. The track is pretty much dried out. It's hard tyres versus the Ravenwest intermediates. Is that enough for him to hold off Bottas, who will have to come in and observe a 10-second stop-go penalty? So let him go, Gonzalez, but don't let Vettel through. He doesn't even let Bottas through. Such is the competitor in Gonzalez. I'm not sure how wise a decision that is, but now Vettel is having a little sniff, and now Gonzalez again is coming round the inside and takes it again. Well, that is outstanding driving, and Bottas refuses to come in. And now we're on board with Bottas. Goes left and goes wide. Will he be able to outbrake the Ravenwest in? No, he can't. And Vettel might be able to come in. And Bottas and Vettel are fighting side by side. It's great racing, and it's great to see Sebastian Vettel out here competing once again in that Ferrari. But his teammate at the moment is trying to compete for the lead. This is the battle for third place that we're seeing. This is the battle for the lead. Charles Leclerc is right behind Max Verstappen, who I'm sure has his teeth gritted, his hands pressed tightly on the wheel, and is hoping and praying that he can do enough to come through. The battle for third place, effectively, after the time penalty, if Bottas isn't going to come in, they may just add the additional 10-second penalty onto his car at the end of this. And now he'll go easily past the Ravenwest, and I think that's a strange decision by Gonzalez to continue racing Bottas. It's under investigation, so I've been told actually it's under investigation. We'll wait and see whether that came. So in that case, yes, it is absolutely prudent to go out here and to race for position. Oh, it's been an extraordinary Grand Prix. They come through to complete another lap of a thrilling circuit, and the final lap of this Grand Prix. Max Verstappen leads. Leclerc is second, Gonzalez is third, Bottas is fourth. Initially, the information that came through was a stop-go penalty for Bottas. Now it's under investigation for brake checking, so we will wait and see. But look at the aggression showed by Valtteri Bottas. Knows here if he can get a podium and get further up, he can extend his lead over his teammate in the championship. It's going to bring him right through. Going to bring Max Verstappen right in line with the championship and put him as a real challenger after this win. After he's really underperformed thus far. It'll be great for the Ravenwest to get a second podium if he can hold off Valtteri Bottas. And they're going side by side again, and he refuses to yield the inside line, Gonzalez. But Max Verstappen is coming through, and Max Verstappen does it what old Dutchmen have dreamed of doing. He wins in Zandvoort, winner of the Dutch Grand Prix. The noise is absolutely biblical at Zandvoort. The third place, the Ravenwest of Gonzalez is coming through. Bottas has just held off Vettel. Question marks in the steward's enclosure as whether it will contain it. It's close. Oh, it's even into the wall. But there we go. Gonzalez has got it. And what a brilliant performance by Hector Gonzalez. Driver of the day. For me, Max Verstappen, winner of your home Grand Prix.
Yes! Unbelievable, Max. Unbelievable. Max Verstappen, you are a race winner. Fantastic. Great job.
Thank you very much, Christian.
Well, Christian Horner will be the proudest man in the Grand Prix Motorsport after watching his boy Max Verstappen win. Astonishingly good drive he had here. The entire work from the strategists, from all those back in the pit crew there celebrating, have got this absolutely perfect, and it's a brilliant win. Alex Albon and the other Red Bull comes through in 8th. Well, what a moment for Verstappen, winner of your home Grand Prix, and hearing your national anthem. What a proud moment he's had. Charles Leclerc, I reckon we're going to see Verstappen and Leclerc battle for many years ahead. And Gonzalez is there too. Fantastic performance in the Ravenwest. Brilliant to see, but it's the Dutchman's day. Well, after that time penalty, losing 20 seconds, it was proven Bottas was chucked right out of his third position, but Max Verstappen is the winner after starting 4th. Gonzalez, excellent drive to come 3rd from starting 9th. Fantastic for him. Verstappen set the fastest lap. Mick Schumacher was down in 12th. The only failure to qualify was Lewis Hamilton, who had to retire. Bottas, thanks to his time penalty, come 20th. It's definitely a weekend Mercedes will want to forget. Well, he refused to come in to take that stop-go penalty, Valtteri Bottas, and that's what's cost him. And that's also cost him a chance to lead the World Championship. So Valtteri Bottas will question that decision-making. Max Verstappen, on the other hand, he leads the World Championship. It may be a point, but could a day get any better for the young Dutchman? He's won his home Grand Prix. He's taken the lead in the World Championship. Outstanding. Carlos Sainz stays 3rd, but he goes level with Lewis Hamilton, ahead of him from finishing more Grand Prix. Gonzalez in the Ravenwest is through in 5th. Sebastian Vettel's a return to form in 6th. From a constructor's standpoint, no points for the Mercedes in that race. Red Bull pick up the gap and it's 9 points behind them. Ferrari are 25 points behind the Mercedes. The McLaren sits down in 4th place and Ravenwest continue their 5th place, but it's looking like the shootout between McLaren and Ravenwest for that 4th or 3rd spots. Well, an absolutely fantastic Grand Prix we have seen at Zandvoort. A welcome return to the Grand Prix calendar. The closest ever finish was we've had a Grand Prix for many years, was 35 years ago. I can assure you today it was one of the most memorable. From all of us, thank you very much for watching. See you again very soon. Bye-bye.